All right, welcome to Straight Up on 107.1 FM. Spread the word that we're live today, the sixth day, is it? Yeah, the sixth day of January 2022. We'll be right back.
I'm in the mood, I'm feeling rude, I'm feeling hot, I want to run. The feeling exciting, so darling, let's do something. I wanna rub my body on your body. Body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body. Rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body. Rub my body on your body. I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hug up tight. No time to waste. I wanna work my ways. So come on now, babes. Give me a taste. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Kellyan Mall, 162 Lamaha Street, in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins Firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins Firm.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100. 100.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame. What a travesty. It calls for us to think and think deep. The stage we are in as a country is not a stage where you become an onlooker. You have become an onlooker for too long. You must get ready to put your hands to the plow and be part of the process. It's not just about PVC, carry PVC. You must be in the kitchen where it is being determined. You must be there where the decisions are being made. If we are there in our numbers, they cannot outnumber us. But you leave it aloof. Oh, no, it's too dirty. It's a dirty game. And then the dirty guy is getting to the game of play. And you are there not showing up. And when they begin to make the decisions, you will know whether it's a dirty game or not. The result is always dirty on yours. Dirty on your health. Dirty on your business. Dirty on your success and your career. I hope that is stirring up something in you.
All right, you got the message there, but political thieves, you got it. Vagabonds, swines, you name it. It's all in the name of politics. They deceive you, and then when they are installed, then they don't give a damn about you. Look at this. This guy are in Boston. Before we start over, I got the cue from Lemon to get on air and start, and I just forgot my manners. Right? Good evening to all of you, and welcome to Straight Up on 107.1 FM. All right, so let's get down to business. We're talking about human rights here. This guy, Orrin Boston, a businessman out there in Essequibo, was murdered. He wasn't murdered by some sort of individual who just hopped off the streets and into his house and murdered him. He was cold-bloodedly murdered by members of the Guyana police force, a special SWAT team. No one knows whether they were questionable characters who formed part of the SWAT team that wanted this young businessman dead. We just don't know. But you know what is puzzling to me? Seriously, what is puzzling to me is that we've had a couple of days of protest calling for justice for this young man, for his family to get justice. But everything just boiled down. It seems as though it's down. People are just back to square one. You know, I don't know whether the family wanted the protest to continue or not. Justice, seeking justice, should never stop. Orrin Boston his family must get justice. And you cannot have members of a SWAT team murdering citizens like this. And no one is brought to justice. It simply means that the killers in the Guyana police force, the SWAT team, they are going to go out there and kill some more people. But then again, you have a catfish or an installed regime that just doesn't give a damn, especially when it comes to human rights issues. We know they have a horrific history in violating people's rights, formation of death squads, killing squads, phantom squads, you name the squads. But we just can't sit back and move on to the next issue and pretend as though this murder never happened. Again, I want to publicly say that the police officers, the policemen, all of those who were part of the SWAT team should have already been brought to justice. I don't know, but the burning down of the OPR building, which is the Office of Professional Responsibility, I don't know whether the burning down of this office or that OPR office had anything to do with the Orrin Boston case and the files. I don't know. And I'm not going to be like this political CLOWN and cast blame without any evidence. I'm just asking a question. Because this guy, Robeson Ben, seems to know it all. He knows who starts the fire, what time, what day the fire is going to be started, and all these sort of things. He seems to know it all. I guess that's what's happening in Guyana, right? And it's like nobody cares. The people in the installed regime don't give a damn about what is happening. None of them give a damn. Look at the conditions of people. But every week or every month we're hearing oil, new oil discovery, billions upon billions of dollars. But yet the city doesn't have a task force to drive around and pick these individuals up. Now, look, a caring government would do something like this, right? Pick these guys up, take them off the streets, not to incarcerate them, not to make life difficult for them, but to have them rehabilitated in some way, shape, or form. But no, the billions of dollars of oil wealth, as we're now hearing about, but yet in a small country, this is not a country, this is not like Nigeria or those other oil-rich countries with millions of people, millions upon millions of people. This is an oil-rich country with just about 750,000 people. And we have been that way, 750,000 people, since I was a little boy. We've never gone to 751 or nothing. We stuck right there. 40-something years, we stuck right there at 750,000 people. That's the population. Billions of dollars of oil. And look, the condition. Billions of dollars in gold. Umai just discovered $3 billion worth of gold. 3 billion. But what is happening in Guyana? The price for planting gone up. What do you think these kids, these guys who are doing the little hustle by the bridge and other individuals, how do you think they are going to feel the squeeze? $1 billion country, oil find and all these different things, and planting gone up. The price for planting gone up. So don't be surprised if these guys now say auntie or uncle planting chips price raise. All again under this installed PPP regime. They do not give a damn about you. And it's time that all of you, regardless of your political affiliation, whether you're PPP supporters or not, you've got to face reality. And the reality is the PPP doesn't give a damn about you. They just do not give a damn about you. Now, look at this. Bonasika Creek area. Look at what has happened. Oil-rich country. Oil-rich country. A mother and her 6-year-old daughter is dead. Now, look, I'm not blaming the installed regime for this. So some of you who probably, would run away. We know some of the trench guys that pops out of the trench and they come and they misunderstand things because they don't know how to interpret. But an oil-rich country, less than 750,000 people, and this is where a mother of 6. I'm sure some of these guys in the install regime would have gone there, campaigned there, begged her for her vote, probably hugged her, kissed her baby, because a 6-year-old is a baby. No one should have to suffer like this in an oil-rich country. Billions upon billions of dollars of oil. The wealth is enormous. But look at the conditions under which people have to live. Look at how they have to live. Cost of living has gone up 20 times or 50 times more than when the coalition folks were in office. But you think you can tell the PPP supporters that? They don't want to hear. They don't listen to facts. They don't. They listen to something else, sounds like facts, but it's not facts. They listen to, there you go. You guys are smart enough. They don't listen to facts. They don't want to hear facts, but they want to hear something else that sounds like facts. It is a shame and it's a disgrace. An oil-rich country. Look at how people have to live. A 6-year-old and her mother. Look at the condition. And now this is not the first time. So this is not an isolated incident, mind you. Many of you probably saw some videos and photographs that I did at a place called Plastic City. Plastic City, right there across the river. What is it? A couple of steps away from Georgetown. Plastic City. Air Finale is not far from that area, but you should see the condition there. Nobody wants to make these people's lives better. These install folks don't give a damn about these people. But yet, they're all excited about news of oil find, new oil find, worth billions upon billions and billions of dollars. I don't know. Look at this meeting here. This is a meeting with rice farmers. Take a good look at this photograph. Rice farmers, big rice producers. Take a good look. But yet, this lady here, take another look at her. Gail Teixeira was talking about ethnic balance and diversity at JCAM and all these places that they never were concerned about ethnic and diversity, balance, and these. They were never concerned about that. They had all of the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, one ethnic group. They had the CEO, one ethnic group, but yet they have the audacity now to sit on national television, paid for by taxpayers, to talk BS about ethnic balance, and that is what they fought for under the PPP. Electoral reforms. Give us a damn break. But if you want to talk about ethnic balance, let's go back to this here. I know some of you might have been wondering, what's the relevance with what Smokey said compared to this now? Look around the table. I'll check some of your comments. Look around the table, and you're telling me that in the year 2022, that's all we can see in terms of rice producers? This is all the rice producers? What happened, man? What happened? Compton don't produce rice? Is not a rice producer? Ronald is not a rice producer? Only G1, Ragmohan, Sargohan, Swarmohan. I don't know, man. But when you point these things out, we're being accused of stirring up racial problems. To hell with them and they're accusing them. But it is okay for them to say these things. But it is not okay for us to say these things. But at this meeting, that guy who is sitting there, Irfan Ali, accused, based on information, accused one of these rice millers, as they call them, turned to one of the rice millers, allegedly, based on what I've heard, and accused the rice miller of putting drugs in rice. Accused one of the millers of putting drugs in rice. Allegedly. That's what I heard, mind you. So, hey, good evening to all of you who are now joining us. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up. I want to say this to you guys. Let me fix my tie because it's something that Lemon doesn't do. Let me say this to you guys. I heard that the First Lady, mind you, quote unquote, First Lady under the installed regime is out of the country. I didn't check to see whether it is accurate that she is in Las Vegas. But if that is true, though, that she is there, oh man, why be so insensitive? Why be so heartless at this time? Hundreds of people are infected. Scores of people are dying. Lots of problems in the country. And you're off to Las Vegas? I don't know. I hope it's not true. You know, I stay away from mentioning anything about the First Lady under the installed regime. I stay away from that. But when I heard the news that she's in Las Vegas, somebody tell me that it is not right, that it is wrong. You just cannot do that. Look, I'm not an elected official. I know the problems in the country. And for me, even around Christmas time, to put up a photograph of my kids around the Christmas tree, grabbing their presents and so forth, I feel a way. And I love my kids. I feel a way. Because I know the situation in the country, especially during this pandemic period, where scores of persons, cost of living has gone up. I feel a way about putting photographs of such. I do, because I know that there's scores of other children out there who got nothing for Christmas. But these individuals who hold offices, whether it's the First Lady or whatever, should be cognizant of these things, should be mindful. But then again, they just don't give a damn about the optics. They don't care how they look. It reminds me of the former First Lady of the Philippines, Mrs. Marco, Ferdinand Marcos' wife. I hope that's not the case at all. I just hope that's not the case. Now, people deserve a little time out, don't get me wrong. But they've got to, once you're in the public's eyes and you're using taxpayers' money, because I'm sure once she's in where she is, um, Las Vegas, that it's not her personal money being used. Taxpayers' money is funding these sort of things. And I would prefer that if you're going to use taxpayers' monies, well, use it wisely. It should have gone here. This woman shouldn't have to live under these conditions. She died. Her 6-year-old daughter died also. But who cares, right? Who cares under the installed regime? Who cares? They don't care. They don't give a damn about what is happening. They just don't. All they want to do is to continue to persecute people, charge them trumped up charges, and then they jump on television or radio and they talk about rigged elections. They talk about all sorts of things, all manner of things. Every day is something new with these people in the installed regime. Now, I put these 3 persons up because they have and they are being persecuted by the PPP. Mr. Lowenfield, Miss Roxanne Myers, and Mr. Mingo, the man that they first turned into a boogeyman, Mr. Mingo. They've accused these people of election rigging and all these things. Over 1 year now since they've been installed. And the only set of folks who are deliberately preventing the elections petition from being heard, guess who? It's the PPP. They do not want the elections petition to be heard because they know that these folks will be proven right, that they are no riggers, that they are not guilty, and that they are being persecuted politically by the installed PPP regime. Notice also, you no longer hear this song coming from them and their supporters about SOPs. They're no longer talking about SOPs. They don't care about SOPs any longer because the coalition doesn't have control of the SOPs. Guess who has control? Forget about GCA. The PPP has control of SOPs. But yet, they are afraid of the elections petition. For obvious reasons, they are afraid of the elections petition. We all know why. Am I correct? We all know why they are afraid. If they weren't afraid, then they would not have been rushing to stop every move for the elections petition to be heard. Every single time Roysdale Ford and them go to court, the PPP rush through Anil Nandalal to stop it. They rush to stop it. They want it stopped. They rush. And if they can't get their way, guess what they do? They file an appeal and they say that it's going all the way to the Caribbean Court of Justice. All the way they're going. It is because they are afraid of the elections petition. How many of you remember the elections petition of 1997? It was dragged out for 4 years. The elections petition back then was dragged out for 4 years. 4 long, long years. It was dragged out. They didn't care. But when it was finally brought to court for a hearing in front of Claudette Singh, Justice Claudette Singh, okay, let's get back to business. Justice Claudette Singh, she ruled, she vitiated the elections. In other words, she ruled that the elections, in fact, if the elections were heard, the petition was heard 6 months after the PPP went into office in 1997, they would have been out, because that is what elections petitions are about. But 4 years after, they had to call elections. That's why they had elections in 2001, I believe March 2001, because of that elections petition. Now, we don't expect this elections petition to go for another 3 or 4 years, to be dragged out. But that is what the PPP wants. They have a history of doing that. Why you think little rattlesnake like this guy, Nigel Darmlal, why you think that he rushes out there to attack the judges? These two women. Now let me ask a question. Do you think if they were of any other ethnicity, mind you, do you think that if they were of any other ethnicity, whether he would have attacked them the way he did? This guy, Dharamlal, who got his US visa revoked. I don't know if he got it back as yet. Revoked. Something is wrong with these guys. Something is wrong with them. But what I can tell you for sure is they do not want the elections petition to be heard. They know what is in those boxes. They know what they have done. The evidence is quite clear what they did. There's no allegations about that. Look at that. 4,864 absent voters. 150 stuffed ballot boxes. 150. Not 50. Right? Not 50. 150. Sorry about that. 150. And then look, 47 ballot boxes without documents. 47 ballot boxes without documents. And now, this is not saying that 150 stuffed ballot boxes are from coalition areas or PPP areas. But guess what? The elections petition will deal with this. And we will get to know exactly where these boxes were stuffed. But the reason why the PPP is trying to stop it, maybe it's obvious that they don't want us to know or want us to see. Again, read between the lines why. 47 ballot boxes. Look, 47 without documents. Which area did this occur? The elections petition can point that out. However, unfortunately, the PPP doesn't want you guys to know. Y'all read between the lines why they may not want the public to know? Okay, you got the message, right? Look at this. 1,278 missing oaths of identity? And the PPP doesn't want the elections petition to be heard so that we can get to the bottom of this? Look, the elections petition is a forensic audit of the entire elections, of which they will open, they will scrutinize the SOPs and every single thing. But no, the PPP doesn't want that to happen at all. Yet they got Freddie Kissoon writing almost every day about rigged elections, rigged elections, rigged elections, rigged elections, rigged elections. All right, if the elections were rigged, well, I know Freddie got some of his Bakus would send him messages and screenshots and stuff. Let him do it. Now, if Freddie is serious about wanting to know whether the elections were rigged by coalition people, then he should urge those in the PPP to let the elections petition be heard. And then we, the world, will get to see who the real riggers are. But without any evidence, without any concrete evidence, I think it is foolish of anyone to point fingers in the direction of coalition people to say that they have attempted to rig the elections. So if they attempted to rig the elections, don't you think the PPP has that evidence? And the evidence is right there in the elections petition? Again, ask yourselves this question. Why then is the PPP? Why then, I repeat, why then is the PPP so afraid of the elections petition? We all know why, right? Yes, we all know why. Lincoln Lewis, veteran trade unionist. Lincoln, good evening if you're watching or listening via radio in Guyana. Look at this. What electoral democracy? 47 plus boxes without statutory documents? And we know this happened at a particular area on the east coast of Demerara. Oh yeah, on the east coast of Demerara. So stop the nonsense about rigged elections. Get on with the petition. Stop trying to stymie this process. Get the petition up and running. And let's get over with. And then we all will know. I want to know. Look, I want to know who the riggers are. Are folks from the coalition riggers? I don't know. I can't point fingers at them. I'm not going to do like Freddie Kissoon trying to convince people that coalition people rigged the elections and nobody's writing about rigged elections who were part of the coalition. I can't talk about who has rigged the elections. I cannot say elections. The elections were, that the coalition folks attempted to rig elections. Where are the evidence? Do you have the evidence? Where can we find the evidence? Where? Other than in an elections petition. But the only person who is blocking this, stopping it from happening, is the PPP. Hence my question. I don't want to keep repeating myself. Hence my question. Why is it that the PPP is so afraid of an elections petition? Why? They blocked it in the High Court. They tried to block it in the Appellate Court. They're now talking about CCJ. These are the same hypocrites who argued that the CCJ has no jurisdiction on dealing with elections matters. The same people, the hypocrisy, right? So, having said all of that, when you put the PPP and the coalition together, and you ask me, and I'll be straightforward with you, who seems to be, which one of them is the guilty party, or appears to be the guilty party of rigging the 2020 national or general and regional elections? Public perception here now would point in the direction of the PPP, that the PPP has something to hide. Even their own supporters will agree with me. Some of their own supporters, probably at Port Morant or wherever, might be saying, a shooting bench up attack there, they might agree with me. And good evening to all of you guys. That a shooting bench up attack there. Suddenly, I mean, I hear about the SOPs no more. That done, that dead issue. Because when the PPP, before they were installed, high up on their list, SOPs. That's all they were talking about. Show the SOPs. Even their supporters were show the SOPs. Now the PPP is the installed regime. They have control of these things. But they don't want to show them no more. They don't want to see them no more. They're no longer talking about SOPs no more. They're no longer talking about elections petition no more. Y'all know why, right? Tell Freddie why too. Don't buy into this thing about coalition rigged elections unless we have the evidence. And don't tell me what somebody said. tell me what comes out of the elections petition, because that is a thorough forensic audit of the entire elections. That's where it happens. Not somebody who said they see Mingo do something, allegedly, or Roxanne planned something on Roxanne, some fictitious trumped up charges against Roxanne Myers and Keith Lowenfield. You know, don't bring that as evidence. That is no evidence. It is no evidence. And I understand why the PPP doesn't want the elections petition to be heard. Let's go to Cuba. We know they have a vaccine that's out for the coronavirus. Congrats. But this is what's happening. Cuba is cracking down on persons who protest. And this is what the Biden administration did. Visa restrictions against Cuban officials. And there's a reason why I put this up here, that I want Guyanese to understand that despite it may appear, or based on how the PPP wants it to look, that the US government has turned its eyes, or is turning a blind eye on what is happening in Guyana. I don't entirely agree with that, right? And so persons who are afraid to protest in Guyana should not be afraid to protest at all. Do not be afraid to protest. Because when the authorities in Cuba clamped down and they jailed and all these things, individuals who were protesting, this is what the US government did to them today. Visa restrictions. And you know the PPP regime, those guys in the PPP regime, them didn't want no restrictions at all. Jack David want no restrictions. Irfan Ali, well, he got restrictions. He can't go to Canada. I don't know if that has since changed. He never came back to explain why they restricted him from going into Canada. Maybe some of us know why. But let Irfan Ali say why. That has not changed because he hasn't gone to Canada as yet. But I just thought that I'd bring that to your attention as to what has happened in Cuba. What else can we talk about? Oh, Lemon brought this to my attention. A toilet facility, latrine facility. Congratulations to, and I really do mean it, Commander Errol Watts. E stands for Errol, not E for eat everything that is there, but E stands for Errol. Errol Watts. He got this, and I must congratulate him. We knew each other since we were little boys, and I cannot just have a program and not congratulate my fellow countrymen, and we attended the same school under quarantine as well. I cannot go without congratulating Errol Watts. Errol Watts deserves this. He deserves it. So congratulations to my childhood buddy. We took the same bus, not the Tata bus, because we didn't grow up in the Tata bus era. We grew up on the quarantine. They had some bus called Cayo. I believe it came from Brazil. And we took the same bus to school and so forth. Errol Watts was a short little piece guy in that bus. And so with his years of service in the Guyana police force, this is his reward. Toilet latrine. In name of Commander E. Watts. The E stands for Errol and not eat. Errol. And you know, Errol has a history of violating people's rights. violating citizens' rights in that country. He has a history of doing that. So karma is a you know what. Karma is a you know what. I think he deserves this, man. He deserves that. Congratulations to my friend, Errol Watts. He deserves that. I know some of his relatives will inbox me and say, oh, you could do that to Errol. He deserves that. I didn't do that to him. His own members of the Guyana police force did that to him. Hey, you know, what else? I was supposed to have 2 guests on tonight, but I canceled at the last minute because I wasn't too sure that I'll be back in studio for this. But what has Jack Deere been up to? He's been very, very quiet, right? Extremely quiet. Very quiet. What next? Is he going to go on his favorite show to be interviewed by this guy? I don't know. Politics has gone to the gutters in Guyana. To the gutters. And now I understand why Jack Dale would only go and interviewed by this guy. I know why. Too much clunging around. That's why. Too much clunging around. Nothing seriously comes out of that. Jack Dale knows that. But if Jack Dale wants to be interviewed and taken seriously, then he should come right here or go to another forum that is by far more objective than going on a circus. Round and round, a circus. A big, big circus. All right, so thank you, Lemon. Look at this guy. Still has some charges, trumped up charges also pending. Trumped up charges. Trumped up charges. This former finance minister, Mr. Jordan, still trumped up charges. All these trumped up charges. Trumped up charges. At some point in time, it's got to stop. It's got to end. But it can't stop if all we do is just talk about it. But I say no more on that. I just say no more on that at all. What else is happening? Aubrey Norton, the new leader of the People's National Congress, Reform, has appointed a new general secretary. And that new general secretary, if Lemon has the photograph up, he will put it up, of Geeta Chandan. Geeta Chandan Edmund. Congratulations to Geeta. She was a former magistrate, went through hell under the PPP. She was removed from the bench because she stood her ground concerning a matter with the then Prime Minister Samuel Hines' son, Samuel Hines Jr. And she was removed from the bench. And they were watching her for a while, because I'm quite certain, based on what, Geeta, Ms. Chandan didn't say it publicly, but they wanted her to jail 3 of us when we appeared in front of her. Lincoln Lewis, Norris Witter, and myself. They wanted her to jail us. And she refused to do that. And then there was another matter when they charged me with having some illegal radio station, and they wanted her to jail me as well. And she didn't. There was no evidence. So how can you jail people without any evidence? And the PPP has a history of doing that. There was another magistrate, Dawn Holder Alert. She was the magistrate at Providence Magistrates Court when I appeared in front of her with some sort of illegal protest. And they requested that she find some way, somehow, to send me to jail. So that is how they operate. That is how the PPPC operates. And so Geeta Chandan Edmond, is now the new General Secretary of the People's National Congress Reform. She has a lot of work to do. She's new in the political arena, but I wish her well. I haven't called her as yet to congratulate her. I should, or maybe I should invite her on this show sometime, but congratulations, Geeta. And I really do wish you the best at that. All right, let me check some of your comments. Brenda Cassie is saying the PPPC regime consists of psychopaths. That is so true. That is so true. That is so true. Let me check some of your other comments. Somebody's saying, and Vincent Murray, hi Vincent, how are you? Glenn is doing an excellent job by exposing these liars and thieves daily. TikTok, I walk by. Yes, Glenn Lal is doing a great job at that. In fact, when they had that protest in front of the where they had Parliament held the other day, Glenn Lal was actually responsible. He started that drive, and kudos to Glenn Lal and others. I think Brian McIntosh also, they were part of that. So congratulations. And yes, I agree with you, Vincent, that Glenn Lal, sometimes we don't see eye to eye. But in politics, sometimes you got to give Jack his jacket. You can't get all emotional and bitter like some individuals. We're bitter, very, very bitter people, some of them. And I find these days more men are dangerously bitter, man. They hold on to spite and vendetta. Bitter guys. Some might be watching right now. Bitter guys. All right, let me see here. All right, so it's been a light night this evening, and I know you guys understand why it's a light night. Maybe, what is it? Tomorrow's Friday. I'll be back with some guests tomorrow so that we can talk a little more and expose these individuals. Just expose them. You know, look at this. Who's going to bury these people, this woman and her daughter, 6-year-old? Who's going to bury them? Oh, now the regime might, the installed regime might pretend as though they care, and the Ministry of Social Services and stuff will set in, and then they can say what they will do to spend a couple $100,000 now to put them in a brockneck, a coffin, 2 coffins, and send them off. But they couldn't use that $200,000-$300,000 to help repair the houses, walk around, have a task force, because nobody should be allowed to live under these conditions. No one. My heart really, really goes out to that woman and her 6-year-old angel. What about the community? What about folks in the community? I don't know. We just can't sit by in our communities and allow and see these things happening. This seemed to be a disaster that was just waiting to happen. Rotten post. I don't know. Sometimes we gotta help each other out. As Lemon would say, we got to help each other out. Sad situation. Sad situation. I know you guys want me to stay a little longer, but I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. Somebody's saying here, look, Jomo Wyatt. Hey, Jomo. Jomo Wyatt is saying, hi, Mark. Glenn is like Freddie. I beg to disagree, because Glenn is talking out. Freddie isn't talking out. Freddie is only attacking those who are speaking out against injustices. For now, right? Good. But I give Glenn Lal credit because Glenn Lal is speaking out. And don't tell me, oh, it's elections time. And, people during elections time, people say all sort of things. People do all sort of things. But we must be able to move on. We must. They got some people, some men bitter, They go back and, oh, somebody say elections time or what. They don't look at elections over and time to move on. But I got your point, Jomo. I know what you're saying. But we still got to give Glenn Lal some credit because Glenn Lal continues to expose them every single day. All right? We just got to do that, man. I've got to go. But I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. Let me see here. There's a Piri Piri is asking for one special song request. I don't know what song that is because this is not a Best Buy request program, as you would know. This is actually a serious talk show. But let me hear the song that you're requesting. And if we do have it, and I hope it's the song by Basil Bradshaw, "A Punish PPP, A Punish Me." I'm waiting to, let's see what song she's talking about, or he, or Piri Piri, or Pyri Pyri, or gosh, people just come up with all sorts of names. Piri Piri, Pyri Pyri. All right, looks as though she's not popping back up. So let me just prepare to take my leave. Thanks, Jomo. I mean, look, Jomo, I don't get me wrong. I like to be objective. I'm not like some individuals who mindset, brain set on just one side, one level of thinking, and they harp on the same thing over and over to make a point or to get some relevance, silly relevance. I'm the type that likes to be objective. And the 2015 elections are over. Glenn Lal held a position, or the 2020 elections. In 2015 elections, he spoke a different dance, a different song than in 2020. But y'all liked him in 2015, but y'all didn't like him in 2020. But y'all like him, kind of like him now. And, we've got to learn to be objective. We've got to learn to be objective. I'm not saying I agree with him in 2020, mind you, but I agree with what he's doing now. I agree with what he's saying now. I didn't agree with what Brian Max did, pretended that they were guarding ballot boxes and all these things in 2022. It was their choice. That's what they wanted to do. But I like how Brian Max is behaving now. I tell you guys this. I like how he's behaving because his eyes are open. His eyes are open and he's seeing the PPP for what they are. Brian Max. And so what are we going to curse out Brian Max now to? And say, oh, elections time? Is that what we're going to do? Is that the politics we want to play? Look at Brian Max. Brian Max said, I didn't guard these so you can fill your pockets with Guyana's money. Brian Max. Look, Brian Max again. Brian Max is saying, get some bail money, some saline or body bag ready for me tomorrow. That bill must not be passed. But they passed the bill. We ain't going to support, we ain't going to say, yes, Brian Max, good job. Thanks for opening your eyes. Or are we going to keep saying, oh, Brian Max was against the coalition in 2020 and he was guarding ballot boxes? Are we going to keep harping on that? Or are we going to play the mature politics and try to get friends back on board as a coalition? Friends, because that's how you win in elections, with friends. You don't win in elections by harping on dotishness all the time. Elections over, dotishness all the time, bitterness, chasing people away because one individual think that they're powerful, so-called imaginary powers, mind you. You don't win in elections like that. You don't gain friends like that. And right now, the coalition needs all the friends they can possibly get. all of the friends they can possibly get. All right? I don't know what else. I feel like this is a political class. I honestly feel that sometimes I got to break things down for some folks. Not all of you, mind you. And I'm not insulting anyone when I say that, because, some folks have a different kind of way of reading and understanding things. Different kind of level of thinking. We know who those folks are. Ryan Wood, how are you doing, man? Sandra Hanover, I agree with you. Desiree Simons, behave yourself. Love from a distance. We must play. We must be mature in our politics. That's how we get friends. That's how you form a bigger coalition, and you don't drive people away because of selfishness and dotishness and bad-mindedness. Because it looks as though some men who claim to be political figures and so forth, claim to be, mind you, are walking around with bitterness in their bosoms. Bitterness. One-track mind. That's not politics. I've got to go, though. I've got to go. I don't know what song. I've noticed somebody's asking for a song. Somebody's asking me, where is Schumann? I have to answer questions for everybody now. How am I going to know where Schumann? Oops. Schumann now displays these two that he suddenly has. I don't know how he got these stuff just grown overnight. But he's attacking the PPP. Oh yeah, Schumann is actually attacking the PPP. I'm not going to be like individuals who like to talk about private discussions they've had with people in private this, but Schumann and I have had some good private discussions leading up to the elections, 2, 3 o'clock in the mornings and so forth. That's all I wish to say. Someone is asking, where is Moses Nagamutu? Good question. Good question. Where is Moses Nagamutu? Where is the former prime minister? The former prime minister became prime minister. He proved a point, and that's it. Not a word. Well, he writes, though. He writes. I'll probably give him a call and see what he's up to. Yep, and see what he's up to. But I've got to go, though. I know some of you guys are asking for a particular song to be played and so forth. I'll probably play tomorrow with you guys, because a lot of people are really going through a lot of hardships in Guyana. A lot of people are infected with COVID-19. Lots of people are infected. Guyana is in a bad state. And Irfan Ali has got to make decisions, whether through the schools or whatever. They've got to make decisions. Guyana is in a bad state. Very, very bad state. So maybe I'll just pass on that song for tonight. And we'll just pray for Guyana. We pray for Guyana. We've got to do it, right? I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, Lemon, for being a good operator and racing to the top to be one of the best workers here at 107.1 FM. I like his behavior. He has changed. It's only the 6th day of the year, but I'm seeing results. Thank you, Lemon, and thanks, all of you. Pray for that country. We've got to pray for our country. God bless.
Hey, yo, RGF. I know you're have experienced the goodness of God, man. And I just want you to help me with this one. Say, you're a good God, yes.
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 I can never be ungrateful when I've seen your goodness. You pay my debts and increase my assets, and it's more than what you did for me. That you are beyond worthy. I wanna come by the fearless matters. You bless me all times that are countless, and I pray that I'll always see everything you did for me. I lift
My hands to you.
I'm gonna lift
My dance to you. So good to me.
You have been
So good to me.
I'm gonna lift
My hands to you.
I'm gonna lift
My dance to you. So good to me.
You have been
So good to me.
grace without measure. Your love is forever. I don't wanna waste my time in searching. None like you never. You're marvelous in majesty. Your awesome authority. Like David, I will write your greatness, so that every man can see.
My dance to you. So good to me.
You have been
So good to me.
I'm gonna lift
My hands to you.
I'm gonna lift
My dance to you. So good to me.
You have been
So good to me.
Let me feel you. You never will. Every promise made you always fulfill.
When it seems like it's not going good.
Everything lines up to your will. Every single doubt I will kill. Recognize God and be still. There's nothing I can do anyway, so I take my position and lift my hands to
My
you.
hands to you. My dance to you. So good to me.
You have been
So good to me.
I'm gonna lift
My hands to you.
I'm gonna lift
My dance to you. So good to me.
You have been
So good to me.
I lift
My hands to you.
I'm gonna lift
My dance to you. So good to me.
You have been
So good to me.
I'm gonna lift
My hands to you. My dance to you. So good to me.
You have been
So good to me.
Yeah. It was fun doing this one, man. But before I go, you gotta help me sing. You're a good